What can you say to our friends out there who are anguished right now? And maybe even what can you say to those people who are overly triumphalist on the other side?
Yeah, this is something that I find a very hard question because my natural answer here is to go to like back up an order of magnitude and to say like this was a bad election outcome for freedom in many ways. Maybe both of them would have been bad, but this one is definitely going to be bad. And my inclination here is to say world historically, in a scale of 0 freedom to 100 freedoms, we got 98 freedoms right now. And now we have, when Donald Trump comes back, 97.5 freedoms. But not 0, right? It's not the apocalypse. And if Harris had won, also, we probably would not have had plus freedoms. Like this, I know that that's annoying because it's the same as when people say, oh, I'm scared to go out in my neighborhood. And you say, actually, crime rates are down. Like, screw you, right? But that is the real answer. The real answer here is I actually do not think that Donald Trump is an existential threat to the United States. I do not think that the world is going to end. I do not think this was the last election. I do think he is going to do horrific policy on trade, horrific policy on immigration, and pretty bad policy on abortion. And those 3 issues are really important to me. They're really important to a lot of people. And people are right to be worried about those outcomes. I think that the tension between the total Trump loyalists and the kind of hyper-competent Wall Street-y billionaire types who are adjacent to him is going to be determinative. Like either the loyalists will win, and just if they say yes, sir, whatever you say, sir, they're the ones who stay in his inner circle. That's going to be a much worse outcome for the country. I do think, Jeff Bezos is like, congratulations, sir. I hope things go well for you, sir. And that's at least in part because maybe if he is closer to the Trump administration, that goes better for him, but also probably, in my estimation, better for America. So that's the question. History has shown us that the loyalists win. History has shown us that you can be an evil, incompetent idiot. And if you say, yes, sir, absolutely, sir, in a convincing way, you're going to stick it out. And so I'm worried about that. And I share the concerns people who are worried.
A potentially optimistic take on this, though, is that Trump has bumped Mike Pompeo, who had been his CIA director as well as his Secretary of State, is not going to be in the cabinet or the administration, which I think is good. Pompeo is a torture apologist. He is a regime change dead ender, et cetera. And to me, that signals a better foreign policy than if Mike Pompeo was still around.
We have a nice, big, juicy Matthew Petty piece up on the site today about, the fact that some of the kind of traditional neocon sides of the Republican Party, by the way, some of whom were embraced by Kamala Harris in end stages of her campaign, do not seem to be ascendant in the Trump administration. I think it's still a question mark, but it's at least not, okay, Mike Pompeo's in charge again. So, okay.
Yeah. No, this is one thing that I'm cautiously optimistic on, is that foreign policy is going to be a little bit better because it will be clearer. Trump has signaled, both in Ukraine and Israel and to the Middle East, I want deals done, by the time I'm in office, et cetera. That can go disastrously wrong. And, Trump's whole positioning towards Ukraine is complicated because early on in his presidency, in his first term, he actually sent them weapons that Obama had not. He's not a Putin ally. He wants something done, but we don't know what's going to happen. But I think Pompeo being kicked aside is a good sign. The other thing, though, Matt, too, for people who are very upset, as well as people who are jubilant, it's wait 2 years, because this is in many ways a replay of Trump getting in 2016. He's got more of a mandate, but this is the dynamic that we've seen this entire century, which is that the existing party gets kicked out, and then the new party comes in with a slim or a large majority, of the popular vote for the president and Congress. And then they get everything they want, or enough of what they want, that they get voted out 2 years later. That happened to Trump. It happened in some ways to Biden. It happened to Obama, certainly. And it took longer with Bush, but it was also that happened to him as well.
That was a clip from the Reason Roundtable podcast. To watch more clips, go here. To watch the whole show, go here. And subscribe to the Reason Roundtable wherever you get your podcasts.